St. Barnabas Anglican Church to give the invocation.
Please rise and remain standing for the invocation and pledges of allegiance.
Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, send down upon all those who hold public office, especially Gina and the members of our City Council gathered together this morning, the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may carry out their offices to promote the well-being of all people. We ask this through the merits and mediation of Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
In case you're wondering what's going on the dais, I will tell you our mayor is out of town on official business, and I am joined by a young future leader who has already proven her leadership. You will hear from her shortly. Is Casey in the building? Casey, come on down. Good to see you in that plaid jacket again. And I think you're going to give us a presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
From the 2023 Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Pro Tem, members of the council, Mr. City Manager, members of the staff, on behalf of the Charles Schwab Invitational Colonial Committee, I want to welcome all of you and invite you all to join us for the 77th Annual Colonial Tournament Charles Schwab Challenge. This is one of the greatest worldwide advertisements for our city that you all are aware of. We are broadcast in over 200 countries. There'll be between 15 to 20 million viewers in this country alone, and there'll be 42,000 at least visitors to the city during this week. More than $8 million in economic impact will be generated, and that money will be put largely back into charity. Last year we did over $13 million investing in local charities here. We have a great field this year. Several of the top 10s are here. And perhaps most importantly, Michael Block is here. Those of you who are golf fans know the story of the Club Pro that finished in the top 15 last week in the PGA and got a sponsor's exemption to join us this week. I also want to mention next year, as you all know, this is our last year in this course. Beginning next Monday, our course will shut down for a year. We will do massive renovations led by Gil Hans, who is the #1 golf architect in the world. He will recreate the Hogan-era golf course. The 1941 U.S. Open is the model. And it will be done within a year, and next year's tournament will be played on the new and improved golf course. That's a remarkably quick timeline, and it would not have been possible without the help of so many people, including all of you here at City Hall, Frank Cordero, who's here along with our tournament chairman, Jim Witten, asked me to thank the city manager, David Cook, Dana Bergdorf, Richard Zavala, DJ Harrell, Carlo Capua, and really all the department heads who have been involved in getting this approved and getting this on the road so that construction can start next week. So it's exciting times for our tournament, exciting times for Colonial, and this is a great week for all of us and for the city, and we hope you'll come and join us. And with that, Jim, if you'll distribute the badges, and we hope to see you out there this week. Thank you all very much.
Good to see you. Yes, you. He's, okay. David Cook. Yeah, we had to make room for more people.
Next will be a presentation of proclamation for the Guitar Studio 40th anniversary.
We can go back to the original format, Jeanette,
Okay.
if you will.
Okay.
Our lone firefighter has made it. Every once in a while, something happens, along the journey of life that makes people forget all the things that cause anger, angst, frustration. And recently, we had a young lady, 11 years old, I believe, 12 years old. Yeah, she corrected me real quick. She had a key role in what we believe saved the lives of her family members. And so I'm going to ask Josiah to take my seat because I wanted her to tell you all what made her call 911. And after you hear from her, I'm going to ask Councilmember Nettles to talk about all those firefighters you see here and why they're here, and he will join us all down in the well. Is that okay? And so if you will, please welcome 12-year-old Josiah Parker. And Josiah, take my seat and tell us what happened that morning that made you call 911. Please welcome Josiah.
Okay, so what made me call 911? I saw my mama and my siblings acting weird, so I called 911 and was telling them what was going on and stuff.
And when you called 911, what did you say?
I told them my mama was acting weird, and then they was like, what was she doing? And I was telling them.
Well, you're going to get a chance to meet a few more firefighters who helped you save your family's lives. And I think they brought some presentations. If you will, Councilmember Nettles, Josiah and I will go down and wait for you in the well, and you can invite the other firefighters to join us in the well. Thank you, Josiah.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council today and City of Fort Worth. Today is a great day. It's a great honor to show our love and appreciation to this family as well as to the fire department. Before I give the presentations today, I do want our fire chief to come up quickly and give us a information about carbon monoxide. Oh, here you go, Chief.
Good morning, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, Mr. Cook. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that is occurs due to the incomplete combustion process from your furnace, your hot water tank, or any fuel-fired equipment, including your car when it's not properly ventilated. And on the 27th of March, we experienced that issue in there was a near miss. And what I mean by a near miss is that frequently what happens is that the illness creates an environment or conditions and symptoms that are very similar to the flu. Headache, nausea, vomiting, lethargy. And a lot of times people go to sleep thinking they have the flu and they don't wake up. There is, just like we promote the smoke detectors and the fire alarm systems in your home, there are smoke or CO detectors that we also recommend. But in this particular situation, 12-year-old Elijah, she made a difference. She recognized that the family was ill. She recognized that mom was not in a position to make the 911 call herself. She recognized that her siblings, her 4 siblings, were not acting appropriately either. And over the course of 11 minutes, she spoke to a 911 dispatcher from both the city of Fort Worth and from MedStar. And collectively between the fire department, the police department, and MedStar, there was a response sent to her house. And with the equipment that is given to the fire department through folks supporting the fire department in our budgets, such as yourselves, at the 11-minute mark, when the fire department walked through the door, you could immediately hear the equipment and the alarms going off that were notifying them that there was a colorless, odorless gas and that there was a problem in this house. And so these folks behind me were immediately able to evacuate the family from the home, get them into the MedStar vehicles in order to get them to the hospital to appropriately get them taken care of. So I stand before you, council member, thank you for the opportunity. We are here celebrating life today, and the reason we're celebrating life today here is because of a 12-year-old. But it also is a message to the public about the importance of carbon monoxide, the understanding of carbon monoxide, and carbon monoxide detection in your homes and businesses. So, council member, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Chief, for that. I tell you, when we talk about our tax dollars and how we support those who support us, our tax dollars was well spent in our fire department. So we want to thank our fire department for acting quickly and doing your job. Can we give them another hand? So we have a couple of recognitions, and I will do the one for the family first. It is signed by Mayor Parker in her absence. Mayor Pro Tem is here to stand in her presence, and myself. Fort Worth City Council Certificate of Recognition, the Office of Mayor and the Office of City Council District 8. The City of Fort Worth is honored to recognize the action and bravery of the mother Ariel, and it's some great names, Josiah, Jalela, Paul, Imar, is that Junior? Imari, okay. And Davion, the baby, okay, which is 7 months, in their battle against carbon monoxide on March the 27th, 2023. Only 12-year-old Jayla realized that her mother was acting strangely and called 911. Thanks to her young woman's intuition and quick actions, her 4 siblings and her mother are alive with us today. In a position when most grown adults would be paralyzed with fear, Jayla saved 6 lives with just 1 call that night. I'm sorry, Josiah. All right. If I say that wrong one more time, I'm gonna get hit. Josiah. All right. Call her Lady J. You got a new name, Lady J. All right. This courage act of love by choosing to fight, not flight, goes to show her supportive, upbringing, and remarkable education instilled by her mother and her siblings. This certificate is presented to Lady J, Parker, and the family in recognition of their bravery and pursuance on March the 27th, 2023, signed on this 23rd day of May. We also want to recognize our fire department. The City of Fort Worth Certificate of Recognition, Office of Mayor and Office of City Council District 8. The City of Fort Worth is honored to recognize the action of several Fort Worth firefighters, including Lieutenant Robbie, in taking swift and selfless actions to render aid to a family experiencing carbon monoxide poison on March 27, 2023. When present with a life or death situation where every moment counted, Lieutenant Leon made the decision to enter the house without wavering and protective gear to save lives of 6 people. This great act of service by this individual saved the lives of 5 children and their mother, and truly showcased the caring spirit of the City of Fort Worth and the community and the fire department holistically. This certificate is presented to the fire department in recognition of the life-saving efforts on March 27, 2023, signed on this 23rd day of May 23 by Mayor Parker and Councilman Chris Nellis.
Also have our appreciation for your dedication to the family and your calm and common sense in the communication with our folks that really helped make a difference. So thank you.
Thank you for being here. Councilman Nettles, thank you. And firefighters, thank you for the heroes we know you all are. Thank you so much. And forget who that is. Bear with me for a minute. Yeah. Now we have a presentation of proclamation for the Guitar Studio 40th anniversary. And once again, Councilman Chris Nettles, thank you.
Thank you. There's some significance in reading this. This individual or this studio is in District 7, but also they went some schooling at Texas Wesleyan. So I'll stand before you and read this. So thank you again, Mayor and Council, for this opportunity to read this proclamation from Fort Worth. Do we have a representative that's here? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Come on up. All right. So Fort Worth Proclamation, Office of the Mayor and City Council. Whereas the city of Fort Worth recognized the late Maestro Michael Daly, 1956 through 2021, who contribute greatly to the classical guitar, its music, and the culture of Fort Worth in founding the Guitar Studio in 1983. And whereas the Guitar Studio became the first place in Fort Worth dedicated to classical guitar education, specializing in the sale of fine concerts, classical guitars, and offering community and outreach to bring guitar music to a new audience, as well as a young student in need. And whereas the Guitar Studio, under the leadership of its founder, began a tradition of training the next generation of classical guitarists and fostering and continuing the love of classical guitar music in our community, and tradition now stretches across 4 decades, 2 generations, and 5 colleges. And whereas in the new generation of guitarists and the city of Fort Worth honors the achievements of the founders of the Guitar Studio and the professor of guitar and at Texas Wesleyan, Michael Daly, and celebrates the continuation of this great legacy of love for the guitar. It is students and the community for which it cares so deeply. Now, therefore, the city of Fort Worth does hereby proclaim and celebrate on May the 27th, 2023, the 40th anniversary of Guitar Studio, sealed and signed by Mayor Parker and all the council members this day.
City council members, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you all for this honor. I hadn't prepared any remarks, but I wanted to share with you Michael Daly, who I'm joined here by his son and a number of his students, longtime students and friends. We're so grateful for all of you and for this honor. And there's something very special about being here also with the head of the music department, Dr. Ilka Araujo at Texas Wesleyan, who is a pianist, but her father was also a classical guitarist in Brazil. There's something very special about the location of both places. The Guitar Studio is on Camp Bowie, there at Camp Bowie in Hewlin, right down the street from all of our wonderful art museums. and the UNT Health Science Center. And there's something really remarkable about that part of town where there's a place dedicated to making life possible, surrounded by places that make life worth living. And it's a great honor to be among that group of artists and doctors and specialists. And Texas Wesleyan, which has been dedicated not only to the education of its students, but the health and welfare of the surrounding neighborhood. And that's really what our founder was all about, was about reaching into the community and helping give people like myself direction through the classical guitar. So we thank you very much.
Those that are here in support, would you stand so we can recognize you as well? Thank you for coming to your Fort Worth City Council meeting.
Thank you.
Next will be items to be withdrawn from the consent agenda.
We have 2 items to be withdrawn from the consent agenda. The first one is M&C 23-0417, and the second one is M&C 23-0422.
Items to be continued or withdrawn by staff.
And we have 1 item to be withdrawn, that is M&C 23-0421.
Council, we only had 2 speakers register for the consent agenda items, and both of those indicated only if there was opposition, and there is none. So next item would be approval of the consent agenda as amended.
Councilmember Blaylock and seconded by
Councilmember Beck.
Councilmember Beck. Jeanette, am I going to, okay, you're doing the board, great. Please vote. Thank you. With that, motion's approved.
Next will be MNC 230422.
Is there a mo-
Sorry, skipped a page. MNC 230417.
Councilmember Beck.
Out of an abundance of caution, I'll be recusing myself from this vote for my service on the Clayton Yes Board.
Thank you. Is there a motion? It's been moved by Councilmember Crane and seconded by Councilmember Nettles. With that, all in favor? And with that, motion passes.
Next item is MNC 230422.
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll be recused from this item due to my employment with the Terranera Food Bank. Also have an affidavit filed with the city secretary, which is required by state law. And so I'll be abstaining from this discussion and vote. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve? Oh, yeah, remarks.
I'll be abstaining from this vote for my service on the Clayton Yes Board.
Motion to approve.
It's been moved and seconded by Council Members Flores and Crane. All in favor, please cast your vote. And with that, motion is approved.
Next will be announcement by city council members.
I'm going to make an announcement on behalf of the mayor, because if I don't do it, I'll forget. But if you take a look in the rear, you'll see a big Hollywood board with a QR code on it. That's the library giving you that. And I hope before everyone leaves here today, you will copy that QR code and participate in the Mayor's Summer Reading Channel. What's happening is Fort Worth Public Library launches the 2023 Mayor's Summer Reading Challenge for all ages and runs June 1 through August 12th. It's a great way to keep kiddos reading during the summer to prevent or slow down summer slide. It's a great way for adults to connect with the community by earning badges related to the arts, Juneteenth, community engagement, and more. You can learn more at the library's website. Now, if you're in Chambers right now, the mayor wants you to scan that code on the banner to sign up. Now, what that means is, if you scan the mayor's QR code, she's gonna write you a whole lot of times about some real good stuff too. So I hope you all will sign up. And that is it on behalf of Mayor Parker. Councilmember Flores.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. If we can get the presentation up, please. All right, thank you. On April 26th, held a coffee with a cop, or as we say in Spanish, cafecito con un policía, in an effort to encourage relationships between residents and the communities that the police officers patrol. It's something that the city promotes, something that I support wholeheartedly. Commander Jason Kim, fairly new to Northwest Division, is still making his rounds, getting to know the communities, and encouraging his officers to do the same. So thank you. And also, we have our crime prevention specialist, Kent Dott, who just joined those ranks. Next slide. Okay, the Fort Worth Aviation Museum had its annual, I can't speak today, Hops with Props event. This raises money for the museum. It's Fort Worth's only city aviation museum. It's near and dear to my heart. Go out there every year. It's very well attended. You have local breweries that present, their craft there as well. And then you also get kids exposed to things that are aviation related. Fort Worth has a very rich aviation history. You see my boy there, and I don't know, the backside there of my daughter, also trying out the F-35 simulators, and I got to see a lot there and appreciate the great attendance. And I believe the museum told me it's their greatest attendance to date. Next slide, please. Okay, we had a recognition in an event over at River Ranch in the Stockyards. That's for the Texas Rodeo Cowboy Hall of Fame. And at their reunion induction, they went ahead and welcomed into their hollowed ranks a lot of folks that have not just embodied the cowboy spirit, but have done a lot for the art of rodeoing, and we recognize them that day. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, and then something else that's personal, with me, Father Stephen Hasso Tuition Assistance Banquet at Joe T. Garcia's. Once again, the Lancardi family went ahead and hosted that event at the world-famous Joe T. Garcia's to raise money for tuition assistance for the children that attend All Saints Catholic Church and School. Next slide, please. Okay, we honored our first responders, specifically the Fort Worth Police, at their memorial, and we had some remarks given by Chief Noakes and Mayor Parker and others. It's an annual event, but I think it always emphasizes the importance of acknowledging our first responders, our police department, for what they do on a daily basis. It should not be ignored. Next slide, please. Okay, we had another annual event, Raiders on the Run. That's for All Saints Catholic School, and it supports the school as well as the parish. And you see some of the leading edge folks taking a run, and I sponsored that event, as I always do. And again, I went there when I was a child, children there too. Next slide, please. Okay, then we had a big event, Sonidos del Verano, Sounds of the Summer. And this is tied in with another grant program that we're doing with Main Street America and the Fort Worth Chamber of Commerce. We had a big celebration to kick things off at Marine Park, and you can see a lot of city staff there, police, a lot of city departments like Neighborhood Services were there in force, the Fort Worth Library Department, and many others. We had performances done by Artes Academy. We also had a performance from a band that was that marquee performance that they did a Selena performance of her favorite hits. Thanks to everyone for making that a success. Next slide, please. All right, over in the local school front at Kirkpatrick Middle School, they celebrated their 1-year anniversary of their food bank. And that's something that really, when you stop to think about it, that need for supporting families with quality foods, produce has not subsided. I know that Councilmember Williams can appreciate this. They continue to do that, and I think they've arrived at an arrangement where they can do this. It's sustainable. They have a lot of parents and volunteers that come in on Saturdays. I think it's twice weekly to make that happen for them. So we had, visits by their mascot, And we also had a visit by the lacrosse mascot as well. So, celebrating them, supporting them and their staff. Next slide, please. All right, Leadership Fort Worth invited all of council to come by and check out their next graduating class. Also as a graduate of that leadership program, it's very important to see, and I think it's telling to see the next slew of future leaders that are going to come and shape our city. So I got the opportunity to speak to them. Many thanks to Jennifer Trevino and her staff for doing yeoman's work to make these classes happen. Next slide, please. All right, Corazón de Plata, which is, a silver heart. I was invited to join the Mexican consulate from the city of Dallas and also some local advocacy groups here in Fort Worth to welcome 14 families that are reunited specifically from Veracruz, Mexico, who came in, and through the efforts of the consulate in Dallas, they were able to get 14 immigration visas. And it was just a wonderful thing to see families reunited after being apart for so long. Next slide, please. Okay, we celebrated Adrian Montoya, who has served for 15 years as the coach and president of the Sabine Jarvis Little League over in the Diamond Hill area. So a small token of our appreciation for all he's done, how he's touched children through sport to make them better, civic-minded, residents in Fort Worth. Appreciate his efforts. That all came from the heart. He was born and raised there in the Diamond Hill area. So Adrian, we appreciate you very much. Next slide. Okay, Fort Worth graduating class, 154. We had council members Blaylock, myself, and Crane there present to, again, see what the Fort Worth Police Department is doing in terms of increasing not just our ranks, but the diversity of our ranks. There were remarks by Councilmember Crane. Thank him for doing that. And again, congratulations to the 154 class. Next slide. Okay, this weekend was pretty busy. We had 2 events going on. We recognized Adriano Moraes, who is a 10-time champion for the Professional Bull Riding Association, and he was recognized by myself, the Chamber of, the Chamber of Commerce, and Visita Fort Worth there at the American Paint Horse Association headquarters, followed by a PBR parade through the historic stockyards. Thanks everybody for coming together and celebrating Adriano. Next slide. Okay, also now this past weekend, Northwest Division held a safety fair and crime prevention fair there at Walmart off Jacksboro Highway. Very well attended event, and appreciate having good attendance from PD and also the fire department from our fair city, as well as River Oaks Fire Department and MedStar. So thanks everybody for coming together to make that happen, and that's all I've got.
You had enough for us all.
It's because I held back on my presentation last week.
I thought about that during a time when he could have, but fortunately, everything was worthwhile, significant, and well-attended and intentioned. Anybody else?
Councilmember Williams?
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just to quick highlights, let's see here.
You don't have to be quick.
The first announcement I want to make is I just wanted to thank the River Tree Academy for inviting me to come speak to the young scholars at River Tree Academy. Of course, going to schools is one of my favorite things to do, especially with both my parents being teachers. I remember spending a lot of days in the classroom watching them grade papers, and so this is always one of my most favorite things to do. It was really awesome to interact with the young kids. They're so bright, and I'm just super grateful for them. They were wearing these awesome t-shirts that said, "Learn well, love well, work well, lead well." And that really resonated with me. I know that there's so many things that we can learn from having conversations with our young leaders, and this trip was certainly a highlight for the month. So thank you again to the leaders and scholars at River Tree Academy. Next slide, please. And then one announcement, the City of Fort Worth is actively in a search for the Office of Police Oversight Monitor, and the city is hosting a public forum. It's on Wednesday, May 31st at the Como Community Center. Please, 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 if you have that date available, come attend that event and help the city find its new leader for the Office of Police Oversight Monitor. And with that, Mayor Pro Tem, those are all of my announcements. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hill?
Okay, y'all hear me? So on Saturday, May 20th, I had the opportunity to go to the Lake Worth Marshal's office and do a water drop-off with Cleat, who dropped off 25 cases of water. They gave me a tour of their new boathouse and a general overview of their operations and the tremendous amount of work that they do to keep our residents safe on the lake. And the officers present were Chris Morgan, Kevin Salters, Mike Ford, Butch Daniel, and Sergeant James Wade. And I know that water and Gatorade will be much appreciated during the heat of the summer.
Councilmember Nettles?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Good morning again. I had the opportunity to be with Anna Katrina at a mental health organization that she did at Botanic Garden. It was attended nicely. She's going to plan another one. It was a really great event talking about mental health. Next slide, please. Trinity Habitat at Alcon Bill Day. This beautiful family, a mother of two daughters, one daughter is a senior, the other is 10th grade, is going to have a beautiful home built, actually planted in District 5. But I had the opportunity to go out at Alcon and, we didn't cut the ribbon, we actually saw the wood. So it was a great event, and so Trinity Habitat is doing great work in all of our council districts. Next slide.
Where is that going to be? What's the street?
I do have the street, but off the top of my head, I don't remember.
Okay.
I'll get it to you. It's probably going to be around the corner from you. Oh, Bob. So Career Day, had opportunity Career Day at Ed Briscoe Elementary. I went to 3 different classrooms, and I'm telling you, the last classroom was real live, and that was actually, was it 3rd grade? Yeah, 3rd grade. They were very interesting, and so they had a lot of questions. I think they asked me if I met some famous singer or rapper, but I didn't know who it was. But it was a great event. Next slide, please. Uplift Education Decision Day. I believe it was 900 students from all over the DFW that attends Uplift Education received either a scholarship to what school they were going to, or they was going to the force, the Army, the Navy, or some was going right into the workforce. And so each senior got a chance to walk across that stage and say what they were going to do. I didn't stay the whole time because it was 900 again. It was at Dickies Arena, but it's a great event. Education is truly our pathway to success. Next slide, please. Safe swimming programs is going to be happening all over Fort Worth. It's happening now in District 8. Then it'll be happening this week. It'll be happening in Camp Carter coming up, Marine Park Pool, and Ryan YMCA in District 6. And so if you do not know how to swim, please send this information out to people who don't know how to swim. We lose too many lives through drowning, and we want to prevent that. And so we're grateful for the YMCA partnership on that. Next slide. Cosmo Camp. We did this last year. Cece the Great and myself did it in District 8. This year, I believe we're going to be at Western Hills. Is that District 3? In District 3, Michael Crane's district. And so Mike Crane supported it last year. He's supporting it this year. And so we're grateful for all the different speakers that's going to be coming out. You still can sign up for Cosmo Camp. Again, entrepreneurship is also a great pathway to success. Next slide, please. Went to the job fair at off of Campus Drive at TCC. I'm sorry, not TCC. No, not Goodwill. It's so many places in District 8, I'm telling you. I don't know where I was. And so I had the opportunity to go into the photo booth with a resident from Highland Hills and a beautiful young lady who's Jerome Johnson from Highland Hills, and another young lady who's also set up her own entrepreneur booth. And so I believe that's my last slide. Thank you.
And Councilmember Beck.
I will be brief. First up, last week was Marshall Appreciation Week, and I want to thank everybody that came out. They had a little ceremony where they unveiled a memorial to the 3 fallen marshals from the city of Fort Worth. They also got some cool badges new badges to mark the 150 years of the Marshal service here in Fort Worth. So as you walk out today, I would recommend you all check them out. Next slide. All right, it was a career day, the career day circuit we've all been on. This is Seminary Hills, and that photo on the left is their student council. So it was really neat to get to hear what their platforms were as opposed to those up here on the dais. Next slide. All right, South Hills, we also attended their elementary school career day. It was a lot of fun. Next slide. All right, so this Saturday, May 27th, is the Fort Worth Rally for Carry the Load. It will start at the Amon Carter Stadium at approximately 10:45, and there's about a 4-mile walk down the Trinity to the Police and Fire Memorial, and I would encourage you all to either attend or sign up to walk. It honors not just the veterans that have lost their lives to the service of our country, but also first responders as well. And I look forward to seeing you all out there on Saturday. Thank you.
Council, we had no registered speakers on non-consent agenda items, so our next item is 230335.
Been moved and approved by council members Crane and Nettles. Please cast your votes. Wow. Motion approved.
Next item is 230338.
Motion by Councilmember Nettles and seconded by Councilmember Crane. Please cast your vote. Motion's approved.
Next item is 230339.
Moved and seconded by Councilmembers Crane and, who did the second? And Councilmember Flores. Please cast your votes. Motion approved.
Okay. And MNC 230421 was withdrawn without objection by staff. And Mayor Pro Tem, with that, that concludes all of the agenda items on the City Council agenda.
Woohoo! We are out of here. Meeting adjourned. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next week.